Now, the United States has vetoed a UN Security Council resolution that called for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, arguing that it would undermine ongoing diplomatic efforts to end the conflict. This while all 14 other countries on the Council voted in favor. The vetoed resolution described the situation in Gaza as catastrophic and demanded the immediate and unconditional lifting of all restrictions on humanitarian aid, allowing safe and large-scale delivery by the UN and its humanitarian partners. It's the fifth time the U.S. has blocked a Security Council ceasefire resolution to shield Israel. The U.S. made it clear that it would not support any measure that fails to condemn Hamas and does not call for Hamas to disarm and leave Gaza. Washington is Israel's biggest ally and arms supplier.
In recent months, Hamas has rejected numerous ceasefire proposals, including one over the weekend, that would provide a pathway to end this conflict and release the remaining 58 hostages. We cannot allow the Security Council to reward Hamas's intransigence. After all, it was Hamas who started this brutal conflict on October 7th, 2023, when Hamas perpetrated the worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. Hamas has sustained it ever since in a manner that threatens Israel's security and prolongs Palestinian anguish.
The Security Council vote came as Israel pushes ahead with an offensive in Gaza after ending a 2-month truce in March. Gaza health authorities said Israeli strikes killed 45 people on Wednesday, while Israel said a soldier died in fighting. A humanitarian crisis also grips the enclave. No aid was distributed by the U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation on Wednesday as it pressed Israel to boost civilian safety beyond the perimeter of its so-called secure distribution sites after deadly incidents. Hospital officials have said more than 80 people were shot dead and 100 wounded near distribution points in a 3-day period from Sunday, with 27 killed on Tuesday alone. Meanwhile, international activists seeking to sail an aid boat to Gaza condemned what they called Israel's threats and declared intent to attack their vessel as it crosses the Mediterranean. Israel's military said that it was ready to protect the country's seas after the vessel, the Madeleine, sailed by the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, left Sicily on Sunday, carrying around a dozen people, including environmental activist Greta Thunberg. In a video, Thunberg said that her mission to deliver aid to Gaza is not the story, but it is Israel's siege on Gaza.
The story here is not that we are sailing to Gaza. The story is here that Israel is having a siege on Gaza and that Israel has been oppressing people for decades and decades and are committing ethnic cleansing, genocide, ecocide, and all kinds of war crimes.
For more on this, correspondent Susan Tehrani sent us this report from the UN headquarters in New York.
The United Nations Security Council voted on Wednesday on a resolution demanding an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, but as expected, the United States vetoed it. Drafted by the Council's 10 elected members, the resolution also called for the release of Israeli hostages and the urgent restoration of humanitarian access. The U.S. stood in opposition, blocking what would have been the Council's strongest languaged statement. The resolution followed weeks of rising consultations and growing condemnation of Israeli-controlled aid zones. UN officials continue to warn that the humanitarian situation is catastrophic and is worsening by the day. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.